Hello Year 5 and anyone else who's watching. It's me in the stupid hat about to read Fly Me Home. Just wanted to say big shout out to Jed, Charlotte and Martin, who I saw at school today, and also apparently one to Ella from Charlotte. Big up yourself. Anyway, here's chapter 16 and 17 of Fly Me Home. I think the last thing we found out was, there was an old man looking straight at Lulu. Oh, by the way, cuddly pineapple. Nice. I dived down under my duvet and pulled it over my head. I tucked my body underneath so there was not a single part of me showing. My eyes were closed tightly. Even though it's impossible for anyone to see me through the window now, I kept absolutely still. I was too afraid to look out again. Lying there in the darkness, wishing for Tiber, wishing for Mum, wishing I wasn't all alone, I felt completely helpless. There was nothing I could do, nowhere I could go, no one who could help. I thought for a moment about small, fearless Betsy from next door. She wouldn't hide under the bed covers. She wouldn't be scared. She would tell herself that the door was locked, she was safe, that it had just been a coincidence, the old man looking up at the window. I stepped out of bed tentatively, making the loose floorboards squeak beneath me. I thought of all the things I had stowed there. That was it. I pulled up the floorboard and reached for the matchbox. I carefully fished out the contents and held it enclosed in one hand. I didn't squeeze it tight as I had the other things because it was so delicate, but I felt the usual little shift, twitch of movement. I knew it would work. Let Tiber come back, let Tiber be safe, let Tiber come back, let Tiber be safe. I haven't even thought it 3 times before I heard the sound of a key in the front door and then a steady jog of his steps coming up the stairs. As he came into our bedroom, I flicked on my lamp. "Where have you been?" I demanded. For a moment, Tiber looked surprised, shocked, even ashamed to see me. And then his features rearranged themselves and his expression changed to one of indifference. He shrugged his shoulders and, ignoring me, kicked off his shoes and threw his jacket onto the bed. "Tiber, you just left me. I didn't know what happened. When Mum finds out..." "But Mum isn't going to find out, is she?" "But, Lulu, don't make this into such a big deal. I came back, didn't I? Everything's just the same as it was. Don't say anything to Mum, okay?" "But Tiber, you know it wasn't..." "Look, I won't do it again, all right? But please don't tell Mum." "You promise?" I asked. "You promise you won't leave me alone again?" "Of course," Tiber said. His face looked like he was telling the truth. His eyes were wide, nothing to hide. But I realised I couldn't see his hands. I remember the way he crossed his fingers when he was making Mum a promise he didn't want to keep. "Show me your hands and say it," I said. Tiber huffed, but he did as I asked, splaying his fingers out wide in front of him. "I promise I won't leave you alone again." "All right," I said. "I won't tell Mum. Or Dad," I added. "Great. Can we go to bed now?" "I suppose so," I said. I couldn't fall asleep though. I tossed and turned, and as soon as I started to drift off, some noise, whether outside or inside me, woke me. Each time I checked that Tiber was still there. He was oblivious to my worries. He started snoring almost as soon as his head hit the pillow and slept heavily through the night. The next morning he was up before me, eating breakfast, showing no signs of having been out late the night before. There was a dull but persistent ache in my head. I didn't know if it was from lack of sleep or something else. It was only as I slowly trudged to school, my head thudding painfully, that I remembered, like a weight bearing down on me, the man from next door last night. The way he looked up, straight at our bedroom window, and seen me. However much I tried to convince myself, I felt that somehow he had known I was there. Although there was nothing to give me away, no light, no sound, no movement. How could he have known? The thought made me feel uneasy. I remembered his dog's great head swinging down to the ground and up again, and shivered. When Mum picked me up from school that day and asked me how I was, I said with a forced smile that I was fine. She didn't question me further, and I didn't tell her anything about the night before. And that evening, as he had promised, Tiber didn't leave the house. He seemed unsettled and prowled around, unable to be still for long. In the end, he took up residence on the sofa, stretching across the whole length. So there was no room for me. I went up to our bedroom. I took up my usual post at the window. The evening had not yet faded to night. I looked down the street, my eyes immediately going to the space between the bin and the lamppost, as they always did. There was nothing there, so I contented myself with looking at everything else. A breeze blew through the trees, making the leaves sound like rushing water. Just then there was a burst of movement from the house next door. I saw Betsy out front, this time without her gaggle of brothers. She dashed up to our front door and knocked 3 times. Her small fist made a surprisingly loud noise that echoed through the house. I flew downstairs and before Tiber had risen from the sofa, flung open the door. "Hi, little fish," she said when she saw me. "Little fish? That's what I call you, because that's what we're like, little fish in a big pond." She gestured at the buildings that surrounded us on every side. Back home, there were spaces that seemed to go on forever. You could walk and never see a building, or a car, or a wall. Here, there were walls everywhere, grey lines drawn all around, cornering you, trapping you into tight spaces. "Hi, other little fish," I said back. Betsy started laughing. It was a deep gurgle of a laugh. "I can come round to see if you want to play football tomorrow. After school, my dad will be out, and so tomorrow we play." "Why does your dad have to be out?" Betsy waved a hand in the air as if batting a fly. "Tell you another time." Yeah, sure, I won't be very good. I'm not good." "That's why we play," Betsy said simply. "Okay, I'll go now, little fish." "Bye, other little fish." She gave another gurgle laugh and left. If Betsy hadn't come round that night, I probably wouldn't have seen it. From my bedroom window, I didn't have quite the right angle. At the bottom of the little space between the lamppost and the bin, there was a small package. It was wrapped in newspaper and tied with string and a loopy-looking bow. It must have fallen down and was now lying on the ground, almost obscured by a bag of empty beer cans. Another gift. Do you know what? I'll leave that until tomorrow. Chapter 16 was quite a long one. I'll upload another video of me reading chapter 17 of Fly Me Home tomorrow. I'll put up some other work and some fun things on the school website. Make sure you're checking it every day, being good to your parents. And remember, stay safe, stay happy, stay curious, stay you. Bye.